Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian, know nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live or listening to the replay. We appreciate everyone that comes back to the vault despite any technology, food pause, or anything of that nature. We always appreciate the people that listen live and then the people that still go back and listen to the replay to the episode. So really do appreciate you. Why? Because we at least know that there's listeners. We know the stats of people that go and listen to the vault, and they take to heart what is it that they're learning. So today's episode is episode 159. It's episode what is a family trust, and we're going to cover that topic today and really go through that topic, and really get a comb here, combing through it, and really going to go through it. So really excited about being able to really get this chat going live. So really excited about that. Definitely has some great news to really come through with this week and post and talk about. So we're going to definitely talk about the news this week. In the news, actually, we were talking about how Vista Equity Partners was actually sued because it's saying that they aided in some type of self-dealing in their environment. So it's interesting to see how they've been called out. We usually don't see, players get called out, but when you start making headways and giving away $40 million as such as giving away $40 million, it looks a little bit different when, you're giving away $40 million. So Vista recently gave this capital away. Uh, Robert did as a donation, and so Uh, we're definitely excited about doing this episode today, going through it. That was one of the ones that was identified. I definitely wanted to cover another thing in the news. Don't know if we covered this the week before, but which was uh, Stellar, a cryptocurrency, made money giving it away, $124 million in cryptocurrency, which is interesting. And so it's just really exciting to see that, in this space you can start seeing the numbers, you can start seeing the equity, you can start seeing the value, you can start seeing how money is being moved. It was $124 million in one company. You know how long it took to see billion-dollar companies. Think about how long it takes to see trillion-dollar companies, and to know that one company is in a pre-stage right now, still pre IPO, or they went ICO, but haven't gone public, which is going to be interesting to see if these cryptos go public. There are cryptos that are public, not all cryptos are private, but Stellar is a cryptocurrency that has went ICO, which is they've offered their coin where people can purchase the coin as far as equity, and they were giving away $124 million. An interesting article, to say that at least you can look into it. We definitely wanted to share another article where, um, yeah, that's what we're going to give out as far as this week. You guys can definitely keep your ear to the street. It's the end of the year, it's the fourth quarter. That means a lot of good things are going on right now in the marketplace. A lot of businesses being done in the fourth quarter. A lot of companies come out of the red actually, and get into black in the fourth quarter. So it's just going to be interesting to see how this one goes. Um, so we got to do this episode this week 159, because there's so many people that come to the vault and they say, hey, what is a trust? That's one of the first questions that they ask. And we went to the IRS website. We looked over there. You all can look over their website. We encourage you all to look at the authorities. Why are we talking about looking at authorities? Why? Because when you look at the authorities, those are going to give you the governing documents, the governing instructions over how to govern those entities. When people ask, well, what is a family trust? It's a private family contract. It's a contract between the family members. It doesn't involve anybody outside of the family. That's why it's called a family trust. It's a family contract. And when we look at this position of, family trust, we're looking at a position of superiority because it's without government. It's private now. People say, oh, I want to go private. I want to go private. That's going private. So if you're going private, you're in the private position. It's that simple. Someone said, well, why would I want to go do things in a private family trust as opposed to just doing things in my name because I'm getting tax deductions? That means you haven't separated the business from the personal. The business is the family last name. It's business, it's not personal. So when you hear people say their last name and they're identified by their last name, when we're identified in public, sometimes by our last name, then it's the family trust that's paying for us to be in that room. It's the family trust paying for us to be wherever we are. Why? Because we're making sure that the family trust can continue going on from one generation to the next. We're just we're just a trustee. We're just a trustee. We're not the beneficiary. The beneficiary is charity. That's who the beneficiary is. Charity. It's always gonna be charity. You giving it away. That's why they're going after Robert. Because Robert, he made a $40 million make money giving it away. And you're gonna see how he's gonna continue living on because he already has the strategy in place. You're going to see people throw dirt at the private. Why do you think the private has never stopped growing? It's because the private is running the public sector. It's private investment that runs the public sector. It's not public feeding the private. It's the private feeding the public. The private came before the public. The public is a public announcement. The public is a public announcement. It's putting your tacking your name on the tree. Tacking something on a tree is a public notice. Public companies following public rules. Then they created public regulation for those people that wanted to participate and do things together publicly. It's the common usage and custom from different areas of the world. And family trusts preserve common usage and customs. That's why the private laws haven't changed, but the public laws, you're hearing more and more of them be created every single day. We could go through a list of them. You even hear financial laws change in the public. In the private, the financial laws, they haven't changed. So it's good to hear and go to environments of public law and hear the public law, but just know that it's public law. So what does the family trust do? It preserves the knowledge. One of the mentors would always share, and we always educate the trust. There's two reasons why the wealth's not going to be passed on from one generation to the next. A, the children don't want to do what it took to build the wealth in the first place. They have no interest in the family trust. That's the first thing. If you're building a family trust for your children, if they don't do the same thing as far as being a trustee over the family trust for their children, they just it was no good. Now, in the respect of a family situation, outside of that, it would be something different. That's the family situation. Then we get to, well, okay, the children might get into it, but they don't have a manual. They don't have a manual to let them know what was the decision making of the trustees. How did they make their decisions? What skills do they need to be a superior trustee? Because if you go, or the trustee goes before the next trustee comes in, there's always a manual for the next trustee. Some people will call it a standard operating procedure. Some people would just call it minutes, trust minutes. Some people would call it a diary of the trustee's mindset. Uh, what else would you hear from that position? You hear quite a bit. There's so much that's given inside of whether that's the diary. It's so much given in whether that's considered to be the diary or considered to be the minutes of what the trustee was doing day to day to the actual the successor trustee. So, what is a family trust? Some people call it an asset protection vehicle. Why? Because there are many famous people that have family trusts, wealthy people that have family trusts, and when you decide to sue them, they don't have assets in their name. The assets are where? They're in the family trust. The family trust owns the cars, the houses that they live in. It's the family trust. Just positions that, you have multiple positions. Some people are beneficiaries, some people are trustees of a trust, a family trust. A lot of times people do become trustees of the family trust. And that's because they wanted to. It's really that simple. Some people say, well, how do you become a trustee? Or how do you become a beneficiary? In those entities. Someone names those people in the contract. These are things that, you can definitely do your research because you listen to the vault and you can find out, hey, you know what? The family trust looks like this. It's at the local law library. You all can, I wouldn't say Google it because you're not, if you preface it with the private, you're going to see minimal information. But if you put in family trust, you'll see a variation of over, a bunch of them, a bunch of different family trusts. But even when you type in the private, you're going to see that there's minimal information. So, what is a family trust? It's you all knowing and moving every day that you're already in a trust, even if you don't know it right now. You're going to realize it, or you're realizing, hey, I'm already moving every day in trust. I'm not really in control. Things can be taken from me. Hey, I'm already in a public trust. Things can be taken from me. I'm not in complete control. Nor am I, well, you say you're in a position of ownership, but you're already in trust. Those are public ones. The private one says structure aids in what you want. I'm talking to an associate earlier, really good close associate, and we were talking about how people are already moving in, trust in life, and what they have to realize is that we're not in control. Even when you own nothing, control everything. This is where we go back to the saying, because we have uh, senior lawyers tell us, hey, our clients don't want to divest themselves of ownership. Okay, so the structure aids you to what you want. The structure, what's that? The private family trust. It aids you to what you want, just like the corporations do, just like doing anything else. It's supposed to aid you, but you're already moving in trust. You're already moving in a position of really no control. So why not own nothing and control everything? You can trust Christian. That's what's going on. It's been going on before the beginning of since the beginning of time, since contracts have been going on. Hmm. So the family trust. The family trust, at the end of the day, something that most people may never get into. Why? Because most to wills, they go into those things on the public side that most people get on the public side. So when we talk about the private situation, ladies and gentlemen, you know what that requires. It's an investment. An investment is usually private in some cases. So, it's always important to know that, on the private side or, private family trust is always going to be some type of investment in your education, investment in your education, something of that nature. That's always going to happen. It's just a private education. A family trust situation is something you have to invest your time in, your education in. I was talking to a senior uh, trustee today, and they said, most people they say they want to be a trustee, but they're not going to do what's required to be a trustee, and specifically what you do as a trustee. They want to be you, or they want to be like you, and never wanted that. Our mentors, even when we got mentors, never wanted to be our mentors. Just wanted to earn their respect, wanted to be, considered actually just an equal with executing a trustee, and you know the being a private family trustee or a trustee with the vault, when you go through trustee training, for sure it requires you not being able to watch football games on the weekend, maybe at a specific time. I think we've done trustee training literally like Super Bowl Sundays because usually trustee training has been on Sundays, and we've done it right there on Super Bowl Sundays. And the day goes on for a trustee. You're not living a regular life anymore. You're living on behalf of the family trust now. So Super Bowl Sundays, you might be doing something on Super Bowl Sundays, and that could be trustee training with the vault. It could be traveling. It could be many different things. So you might not catch football games. So the senior trustee said, well, why don't you just share with them how you're living your life as a trustee, so they can hear how it's being done by even some senior trustees. And it's just, look, maybe don't get a chance to watch the football games live, but definitely get the DV, get to watch the 15-minute highlights. Just watching the highlights, really don't catch a lot of the football games live right now. We've been to Super Bowls before, so maybe we just have that advantage. An advantage. It's always just something that we want to definitely do events. Taking young kids to the Super Bowl, really exposing them to the game and things of that nature. It's always a blessing to be able to do those things when you're a trustee. Dealing with the foundation and things of that nature is always awesome. So when it comes to the family trust, we always are appreciative of it being able to do that. So when it comes to the senior trusteeship of being able to watch games, those things might not happen. The live games right now, 16 games, there's only 16 games, live games. We might not catch any of those games. Haven't caught many of those games in the past years. I've just really been grinding. I've really been focused, really been locked in as a trustee. A lot of people say, I need to know the codes, man. I need to know, someone even asked this past week, how do I get around to study? It's like, man, that's the last thing you're going to get around. You're not going to get around to study. You're going to have to study. You're going to have to put in a lot of hours as a family trustee. And, maybe we were kind of, we'll just say it's soft. By saying that the trustees, oh, private family trust and family trust and trusteeship and trusteeship. Everybody wants to be a trustee. Everybody wants to go private. It sounds like the best thing to do. And then when it comes to trusteeship, or when it comes to leadership, or when it comes to communication skills, we start seeing, oh wow, this is real life now. These are people that potentially may not be ready for the vigors of trusteeship. So we see a divide between the ones that really they want help, and then there's ones that they really want someone else to do the work for them. And so, if that's the case, I think you should definitely, consider that, because, even if someone comes and says, well, why would I want to have a family trust? It's like asking you're not ready, to be flat out honest with you. Why would you need it? Because you don't have a need right now. The people that have a need, are the ones that can lose something, and they're willing to protect it. They're willing to take, instead of taking ownership, they take responsibility as a trustee. You become the responsible party. We even talk so much, like when people ask about the irrevocable trust and things of that nature, is like, so if it's not where the trustee is not in control, that's revocable. Where if it's irrevocable, that grantor is nowhere near, and you guys are moving as trustees of the family trust. You got to move as a trustee because this is the vault. We're talking about trustee training. You're the responsible party for the trust. So many people, I don't know. I don't know if they trying to pass the buck along, but this is a lifestyle. Family trust is a lifestyle. People say, oh, you're dealing with those trust things. That must mean you have a lot of money. Once again, family trusts are to pass along a legacy. That means that you have not just some money that you're earning. It's assets that you're managing as a trustee. And right now, aren't you all managing assets as a trustee of your life? Who's the grantor of your life? Who's the beneficiary of your life? Who's the beneficiary? So, we definitely wanted to do our best to stick this episode out. We may have to just get into better places. We're always on the road now, and just definitely wanted to do this episode. It's like a hot topic right now. People asking why do they want to be in something that can protect their family, help their family pass along wealth from one generation to the next. They're asking that question, and we just see maybe we just see a mindset of people not wanting to pass anything along. Some people say, "Oh, I want the generation under me to start over again. I'm not going to pass anything along. Not going to pass the property." We were sitting around. We were honored this weekend by just the association. Cornell actually got married, so just really excited about him. He's definitely made a proclamation to the world, which is really cool. So we get brother Cornell, he's on the honeymoon right now. And so it's awesome to see that. But we were standing with the groomsmen, so great deep party. He has deep bench, and one of the groomsmen said, gentleman's probably like under 45, older than 35, and he said, yeah, my son's 12 years old and already got him 8 properties. These are all properties that are cash flow positive and have renters in them. And then the gentleman has 5 children. The gentleman has 5 children. So it is one of those things that is like, it's very interesting because it's wow. Somebody that's able to put together, wow, someone that's able to put together assets and portfolio. That means they're very focused. Um, they're very focused, and he is that. He has $1 million company, doing IT solutions. He has doing IT solutions, government contracting. So you all can see that the company is something that is able to provide, and not only provide as a family company because it's contracting with the government. So pretty much company can keep doing its business as long as that the government has a need for their products and their software, technology. And so you say, hey. I have 8 properties for my son already, and he's 12 years old. And it just puts people in a specific mindset when we were sitting there. Is really inspirational. I really wanted to share that because it was an inspirational moment just sitting there and seeing that. It's like, wow, this is being in good company. I always appreciate, you know, that those type of people, to be surrounded by those type of people. And Cornell has a deep bench, when it comes to associates and partners and business partners and friends and so many people he's helped out. He's already created family trust. Cornell is big on relationships, and that's what family trust is all about. A lot of family trusts end up working together. We always say people that are in trust deal with other people that are in trust. So, that's why you see Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, having fun and working together. And you see so many the other great ones. That's why you see Zuckerberg being mentored by Bill Gates now. It's a, what do they say? It's a family affair. It's a family affair. And family trust is a family contract, which is an affair. And we hear so many people come to the vault and they say, "Well, what about prenuptials? Do I still need that if we're getting married?" And we say, "Well, what will be the need for that when you have separate, family trust, and then you walk into a situation where a new one's created, so everything's separate already, and whatever we do together, we do together." And those are things that can always be tailored, and you guys can always move forward in finding out how to divide assets and things of that nature. So definitely wanted to do that today and really discuss what is a family trust from what is a family trust from our perspective at the vault. Um, e- like we say, even though some people will say it is asset protection, it's truly that. And so we love to be able to get in front of whether it's a public lawyer or private and just really have a great conversation about what it is. It's a contract. And we do things really well with the private and trustee training. With the private and the trustee training. So, we just say, hey, look, trustee training is something we've done for years now. And at this point right now, we just had a great influx of trustees that are in trustee training. And we had to, you know, a great influx of trustees working with a bunch of families right now. And that's what it's all about. And so we know that a lot of people have reached out to the vault recently. They said, oh, the consultation prices changed, things have changed, and it's a change for the better, ladies and gentlemen. We deal with families. This is the end of the year. The demand has gone up, so just know if you're contacting the vault, things are they can get a little extreme here at the end of the year because we really focus on working with the families, being dedicated to the families that have invested into the vault, or we should just say, have partnered with the vault and really just invested in their private education, with the vault in their private education is trustee training. So they've invested in their private trustee training. And for the end of the year, we don't want to say that the price is just outrageous, but really it's more just the time demand right now. It's a lot of people that have contacted the vault, and the time demand is there. It's already done. We're in the fourth quarter. So I just want to let all the families know that do reach out, in advance. It's all love, it's all appreciation from the vault. Always has been, always will be. We always appreciate everybody that's listened and, came to the workshops, came to or trustee training. And so we just have a great fulfillment and an obligation. We're working with the current families. So just know that if you contact the vault and you kind of say, oh, wow, I didn't think it would be that. Just know that it's because of the end of the year. So, around the turn of the beginning of the year, if you're listening to the vault and you hear some, oh, wow, let me go back now and see, what it would be, it definitely is going to be different because it's going to be the beginning of the year. We don't encourage people to wait to the beginning of the year, but, it is definitely going to be this year. At the end of the year, it goes up, it goes up, it goes up because of the demand at the end of the year and the time, and that's dedicated to each specific family. So we always just appreciate everybody for once again investing in their private education. Working with the vault. It's always been a pleasure to work with the families. 100% success ratio. 100% success ratio. 100% success ratio because you get what you pay for. You get what you put in it. That's the How do you get something out of the private if you're not investing in the private? You invest in your private education through a consultation. You invest in your private education by getting trustee training or going to private wealth forums or going to private wealth conferences. That's investing in your private education. If you're not doing that, you're not investing in your private education because how can you invest in your private education if you're not investing? If there's no investment, there's no return. You only get return when you invest. How do you, or you earn it, earned income versus investment income. Because when you invest in things, you actually can get a perpetual return. It can be a passive income now, not just a earned income. But people have, but now we got this conditioning of people saying, oh, well, earned income, earned income. Let me make money. The downfall of mankind is making money. You cannot make money. You That's why they call it earned income. It's not make income, it's earned income. And the earned income that people choose to get is the reason why most people don't even make more dollars in a day than the hours in a day. Or some people don't make more dollars in a day than minutes in a day. There are people such as Bill Gates, they say, oh, if he reaches down, it's not even worth reaching down because he's losing money by reaching down and picking up a penny or reaching down and picking up a dollar. It's like, really? He's earning so much money that he literally, if he reaches down to pick up a dollar, he he literally is not, it is a waste of his time. He earned more money by just keep walking than for him to stop and pick up the dollar in a second. Family Trust helps you with that. Why? Bills for sure in Family Trust. The distribution goes from Microsoft to the private foundation of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. It's that simple. Making money, giving it away. That's what a family trust is. So we appreciate you all for tuning in live or listening to replay. Don't really see any questions in the chat. Or you gotta stay on for a little bit longer if anyone has any questions in the chat. But it's just been a great year this year, ladies and gentlemen. Family trust is what it's always been about. Family charity is what it's all about. You can have a private, you can have a family charitable trust. Some people, we can come back and do that episode, but that's so critical when people say, "Oh, we want to give away to charity," but you got to do it the right way. There's a right way and a wrong way to do things, always. You can't pedal a bike unless you pedal. You have to pedal the bike. Well, you're not going to live family trusteeship if you don't invest in becoming a trustee, or if you don't invest to become a beneficiary, or if you don't invest to become a knowledgeable grantor. It's an investment of education. So the separator now is the education. Are you going to invest in your private education? So what is it worth to you? We have mentors that will not hop on the phone with people for less than $1,000 an hour. These people are very well off. And so when we do the workshops, when we do the workshops, when we do uh, when not just the workshop, but when we do the training, it's always going to be catered to the families. What it sets the precedent is the families that show up for the training. Sets the precedent. The families that show up for their education now. They've invested, so they're educated now. You get in, you start getting educated, and you say, oh, wow, it's a lot of education. It is for the rest of your life. Private trusteeship for sure is private education investment for the rest of your life. That's what it is. And particularly, it's an education. But there's work involved, ladies and gentlemen. It's not about the knowledge. So many people come and they say they want the private family trusteeship. They want to be trusteeship. And then what happens? They don't have the growth entrepreneur mindset. It doesn't work. The reason why you're in trust is because you're operating on the four keys to wealth. You got to protect it. You got to preserve it. You got to grow it. And you got to pass it along. It's a system. There's a public school system, it's a private educational system. Some people say, well, what about the private school, like school stuff? We're not talking about that. We're talking about private trusteeship. When we talk about Royce, When we talk about Roy Seaback and GoldMoney.com and the owner and how much he makes, how much Steve Jobs made, how much Bezos is making. I mean, these are people that people look up to. They admire them. They look at their portfolios. They say they have a huge family trust that they're operating from with their companies. So let's talk about it. What happened to the rich guys like Rockefeller? How come they're still not on the Forbes 400 list or 100 list? It's because they're private now. They've been private for a long time. If you think new money's trumping old money, that's why they call it old money. Because it's older. So they don't need to be on the Forbes 400 list or whatever the list is. I don't even know what that list is. Forbes 100 list. That's public wealth. That's why when Jay-Z, celebrity, recently reported his holdings, he reported his public holdings. The public holdings. Why would you report the private holdings to the public? You see how that's a private family conflict of interest? Private trusteeship. What is a private trusteeship? That's what it's all about. Family trust is just something that, is there. Is there. Because somebody stepped up to the plate. They made the sacrifice for football, Super Bowl Sundays. They made the sacrifice with saying, hey, look, we're always going to be investing for the family education. We don't need any leisure dollars. The last generation was leisure. That's why we're in a position where that's partially why we're in the position we're in. It's because how many families have passed along the legacy, have passed along the step up, not the same steps. Start over. So it's always about the family. And that's something that we focus on at the vault and really encourage families to work together. And, we see it. We see it across the board. Families working together, learning together. And that's what really fosters the growth mindset is being able to have a conversation with someone that you trust